It's all conspiracies. It's never like no one's ever said like no, like I want money from this.
This is why you need to go to America. In America, you do anything, you get to sue someone.
Yeah, that's true.
They love suing.
I mean, this is nothing to do with conspiracies, and we'll quickly go back to conspiracies. But you know, Astroworld.
Yeah.
Isn't he getting sued for about 700 million plus by 100 people?
It's not Astroworld. It's the Live Nation. It's the people that basically the people that own the park or concert or like the stage and the area.
Wait, so it's not his. Okay, wait. So it's not his team that's getting sued. It's where he had the festival that's getting sued.
Basically, long story short, he's getting sued a percentage of what they're getting sued.
Okay.
Isn't Drake also?
Yeah, because he performed. Yeah.
Yeah. So see, but it's the whole company is getting their profits is getting finessed and their earnings.
Well, that is still part of conspiracy theories, because the fact that it even happened is a conspiracy theory. It's like, why would it even?
I said this to Zara as well. Before all the videos that came out, Kylie Jenner was recording the thing.
The ambulance was in the...
And I said to Zara, I said, what? So imagine I'm performing, and you video record. You're not going to go, there's an ambulance there. Ambulances aren't usually in the middle of the crowd. I might see what's going on.
Nah, I don't.
Like, she didn't do that.
I don't want to talk about it because it makes me mad. I don't like when people die. I don't think anyone likes when people die, especially children.
She actually posted it as well. That's what got me as well.
$2 billion. Sorry, $2 billion they've been sued now on behalf of 282 claimed. 282 people are suing them for $2 billion, the highest. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
But money is nothing. People's lives were lost.
Yeah. Like, no, as in like
no, but it's just you didn't know. Yeah,
I know you're talking about the figure.
Yeah, because obviously this morning it was like 700 something now.
No, because probably what people did was like, oh, they're suing. I'll sue. I was there. I'll sue too. I'll sue too. And then obviously the money is just
probably the people that was telling them to stop the thing sued as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Surely they can't give out. Like, how would you even pay that amount?
Oh, do you know how much money they make yearly?
Yeah.
That ain't nothing to compared to what they make yearly, you know.
$2 billion though.
The music industry, especially festivals, ridiculous amount of money.
No, but even then,
even like oil companies.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like when they get sued or whatever, like what happened with BP.
I feel like
but what I was gonna say about artists is that even though we say that artists make a lot of money, it's not necessarily the artists, it's who they are signed to that is making the majority of the money. So when you're suing Drake, yes, great, sue Drake, but you're like the money is coming from OVO. That's where the money is coming from. So I don't know who Travis Scott is signed to. I don't care about artists, but that's probably where the issue is gonna come. It's like he probably doesn't have $2 billion. It's who he's signed to, which has the issue. And that's why I was asking, is it his team that is being sued or is it the festival that's being sued? Because if it's the festival and the people that set up the event and the organisation planners and all that stuff, then they'll probably get their money.
It's the festival and them individually.
Yeah.
So it won't be a team, it will be them. So it will be like Drake, then his government name, Travis Scott, his government name, and Live Nation. Makes sense. Because even though like I would say that their brand themselves, the manager's in the back. He's not being seen while people are dying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, of course.
So he's not gonna get sued. He'll help. Like Drake and that.
Deal with it,
yeah, but he's not getting sued.
I was gonna say, if they were suing like the record label, it wouldn't be anything to the record label. They still get proceeds of profits from music from way back.
I'm telling you.
Like Sony and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But
no, of course. But if you sue an individual, that's a lot of money for them to.
Maybe Kylie Jenner might help Travis out.
Oh, he's got that.
No,
from the trainers, he's got that in the back. I'm telling you.
Yeah, not as much as her. Obviously.
That's why I said she'll probably help him out.
Yeah, but it's funny to hear like how how artists actually, like how much money artists actually have. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
This is why they start talking about their contracts and these things, because
Net worth.
yeah, because it seems like they're making the most money ever, but the money is not coming from their music, because the music money goes to the record label. Like his money's coming from his trainers and his brand
But
deals.
also, even with the trainers, how much does he get from the trainers?
Basically from what I understand, is that because he makes his own like t-shirts and tracksuits and shit. So that's basically, I would count that as part of the trainer money. So with the trainers, I know obviously he can design it himself, but he would probably get either a 50-50 or 40% of what they actually make off his trainers. Because of he designed it. If they designed it, it'll be a lot different. Because he designed it, they'll be like taking a gamble here. Like, that might have banged last week, but this might not bang. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, if this bangs, because we're taking a gamble, we want the gambling money. Does that make sense?
So the same thing with Kanye. Like,
and obviously they got to make it and stuff as well.
But same thing with Kanye. He owns Yeezy. So he made sure that when they was with Adidas and then they switched and then he came back, he was like, well, I'm not giving you anything. It's my shoes, my brand. It's just under Adidas right now, or it's just under Nike or whatever.
He's smart. He didn't put it in the Nike box. He put it in that.
It's his. It's its own thing. So like they're not making complete profit.
Yeah, because even with like Rihanna, Fenty Beauty, she only owns like 49.99% of it.
Yeah, no, because it was gonna go under at one point. I think last year there was an issue. I don't remember how big of an issue it was.
She was balling off that.
It was just before they said that she was the first. Was it a billionaire? Before they said she was a billionaire because of the line. Before. Yeah, because they said she was the billionaire. Something was gonna happen, and she had to get investors. And then because of the investors, that's why she was able to continue and stuff and like that. But like that's not what we talk about. Like even the other week we were saying this, it's interesting to understand that there's roles behind. Like people will say that they're CEOs of company, they're not even doing anything in the company anymore. Their name is just on it. Like we see Fenty Beauty, we see Rihanna, but no, she might own like 30% of the company. You know, it's the investors that are making that profit from the company.
The 50% is LVMH, so it's like Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy. That's some like conglomerate.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
they own 50% of Fenty Beauty.
They're laughing.
That's
They're
interesting.
laughing.
But like I think that ties back to the conspiracy things, because I was just about to say that like with the fashion, with certain companies, corporations, makeup, fashion, food, we think of them as all individual, but they're really just owned by a fair few specific companies, which is quite interesting to me. Like makeup, we see all of the different like brands, but when you actually look at who owns what brand, there's like maybe 5 different makeup brands that own all the other brands that are made.
I want to know that because you started yours. With that, is it like, you see like investors or owners, is it like owning electronics?
What do you mean?
So like you said, would there be a person or a brand that like, say for example Mac, like you see how like people own percentages of things? Is it the same
with makeup?
Yeah. Is it easier to like, basically I just want to know how that works basically.
Yeah, no, there is like they are split, I guess. I think maybe the shares or something, because even with like Fenty Beauty, there's this it's like a beauty incubator brand called Kendo Brands, and like they help. Who do they help? They help Estee Lauder. Yeah, they like own parts of Estee Lauder.
Okay, yeah.
Of like skincare brands and stuff.
Yeah. So it's the same.
So it's the same setup. Yeah.
Because like that's what I wanted to know. Because I find basically ownership. I find it very interesting. Because even with like electronics, a lot of people will do like, it's hard to explain. Like there'll be, say for example, PS4, yeah, or PlayStation. Say PlayStation goes bust.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go bust. Say they go bust. Xbox or whatever will be like, oh yeah, I'll give you this amount, but just know from now on your shit is my shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to know if it's the same or if it's more technical than that.
No, it's exactly like that.
No,
Like,
or if it's more friendly, because I don't know. Because I know, especially technology, in my opinion, technology is more strict than clothes or anything. So you see, like iPhones and that.
Yeah.
Like that's basically the lowest of the low. Like it's ruthless over there.
Oh,
That makes sense.
okay.
That's
yeah.
what I thought. That's what I was asking. Is like, is it as ruthless as that? Because obviously I don't know anything, so I could think, oh yeah, it's obviously any business is ruthless, but it's more of a friendly game. Whereas like computers and stuff, like TVs and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't know how friendly it is, but like for example, they definitely compete in brands that are owned by the same people in the end. Like for example, Zara and Bershka. Same thing. This is can't say that word.
And Pull&Bear.
And Pull&Bear, all owned by the same
Oh, swear.
people, same
You're paying
company.
for the brand.
You're paying for the brand,
Yeah.
but they're competing brands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they are competing brands. They are literally competing against each other in fast fashion between, each other, but they're owned by the same company. Like it's very interesting.
I'm about to say, because I understand Zara's a bit more aimed at, recently
High fashion.
Yeah, a bit more high end fashion.
Yeah.
A bit older market, I would say. Millennials.
Yeah, it's not children.
Yeah,
it's like
20s, 30s sort of thing. However, Pull&Bear, what's the other one? Pull&Bear, Stradivarius, and
Bershka.
They're all very similar, those three.
Yeah.
That's what really confuses me, because
Pull&Bear
they haven't gone for different target audiences.
Yeah, like Pull&Bear and Bershka are
They're the same.
really saturated market.
same shop.
Like my jacket, you'd think I would got it from either.
Yeah, it's the same shop. It's literally the same shop. But then you know the difference because the prices are different.
Yeah.
Like, when you go and I can't see the
Stradivarius.
Them, I would relate them and Zara in the same category because of the prices, yeah, and the materials, like the quality of the clothing are similar, and then Pull&Bear and Bershka quality clothing prices are similar, but it's like they're all competing, and it doesn't make any sense. Well, it makes sense because they're making money off going towards completely different groups. So like Bershka, someone that shops in Bershka probably isn't going to also shop in Zara because it's a completely different price market, type of clothing. They're aimed at younger children, school children, teenagers, and then you get, then you kind of like graduate and you go to Zara afterwards. So that means like you're making a bit more money, you're kind of doing the whole like casual, it's like casual business wear and all of that stuff. That's why, but they're making way more money because of that.
You see, I feel cheated because on the little ASOS app, I used to type in, say if I want a top, I'd be like Bershka tops, scroll through, didn't like it, Pull&Bear tops. I would literally type them in separately, thinking that they weren't the same thing.
Yeah.
And so when I found out, I remember saw Tom, I was like, very funny, because I can't remember what it was. Was it Westfield maybe? There was like two of those stores right next to each other.
Yeah.
That's what you're kidding.
Pull&Bear and Bershka is like next door.
Yeah.
Like funny. Imagine
it's
you
like,
run out of stock.
That's over.
No, to the point. It's like it's the same factory but just different floor levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's weird because it's probably the same factory but completely different materials as well. That are going like why would they do that?
Yeah.
Like why not just make good clothes? Does that make sense? Like what did they say? Like these ones were just not going to put as much work in.
So,
But they know people are going to buy it.
I was gonna say that.
It's
That's
true.
why. I learned that as well.
I was going to say which one of those do you think had better quality clothes then? Because it sounds like you think that some of them better quality. Yeah.
What Bershka?
Zara's got
Zara.
really good quality.
Yeah.
Zara.
Yeah, Zara. I don't shop in there.
Nah.
Well, I personally think
They're
that
downgraded now.
Have they?
Really?
Well,
Oh.
so apparently, I'm not going to quote the actual days, but I'm going to say like we were 9, 12, 13. But the time it takes for like a design to come on, like the designers are to like propose a design and then to get it onto the shop floor is a matter of days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the quality of clothes are so cheap.
It's rough.
Yeah.
There are some lovely stuff in Zara, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but some of them are just, you look at the size, that's why the sizing is
Think
just so,
about it.
like, not
Yeah,
even,
but
not
that-
standardised, that's the word.
Yeah, but that's also why, like, okay, there's fast fashion, right, and then there's seasonal fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you can see the difference, and the reason why I'm making the distinction is you see the difference between the fast fashion that Zara brings out and their season items, and I think that the seasonal items, obviously they've worked hard on them, they take time, like the designer proposes them, all that stuff, it goes through that, and then they come out in autumn, spring, summer, winter. Whereas when a designer comes out with a piece of clothing, or you see it on a runway, 3 days later is in Zara. That's different. The quality obviously then isn't going to be the same because it's fast fashion. The whole point of it is that it literally is done in days.
That is a very valid point. But the reason why I think it's changed because before a lot of people would go Zara and get their clothes there. Now other people go to Bershka or Pull&Bear to get males. I'll say males because I don't know about females. I don't know if it's the same. Because before a lot of people get their jackets from Zara because the quality
The
of
quality is better.
jackets
Yeah,
will last longer
I
and
do.
stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Like I had mine. I had 2 of my jackets for like 4 years from there.
Yeah, 100%. My jacket that I
You can't do the same.
wore to school was from Zara, and that was the jacket that I wore from year 7 until year 11. Like, the jacket was good, but now it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But also,
and the jeans as well.
yeah.
Male jeans. Is a
But
joke.
also with that, with quality, it's just really interesting to me how fashion brands work, and like fast fashion just doesn't. I don't understand it, and I need to speak to someone that works in the factories because I don't get it. For example, now, like since PLT has started doing their collaborations, so like they'll do Tiana Taylor collection, Molly May collection, all that stuff. That stuff quality is completely different than normal PLT wear, fast fashion wear.
Yeah.
Like the tracksuits, the tops, the dresses, all of that stuff. Like the £5 dresses, you know that's see-through. You know when you get it, it's see-through. Like that's why it's £5, right? But if they do collection with Tiana Taylor, quality is different.
Because they have to deal with another person's name or brand. They have to deal with another brand.
Because it's a reflection of, like, for instance, Tiana Taylor. If she's designing the wear, it's a reflection of her, so it can't be shit quality.
Yeah. It's like you're not putting your name in risk, you're putting mine and name in risk as well. Like you gotta, like you can't pull me down if people chat rubbish about it. That's what it is. I've noticed that with a lot of collaborations, they pay more detail to their wear than it is when they're just individuals.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed that.
No, I think it's just like me not understanding why people are so greedy. Because, like you see, we have this conversation quite often. We don't understand. We know why.
The need for more.
Yeah, the need for more at the expense of ethics, sanity, morals. That does not necessarily make sense to me. For example, right? Amazon, mad money, makes he's a billionaire, one of the richest, 1%, all that stuff. He's made a business that is so like quick turning, has revolutionized delivery, service, all of that stuff. But there's just certain things that he does not give a toss about. For example, workers get paid shit. Like they get money, but for what they're doing and how they're worked and how they're pushed and like what happens in the factories is not great. So it's like I don't understand why not just pay workers more when the money, like, the company's making so much profit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that, I don't understand. For example, PLT, amazing, great, fantastic. Why not make ethical factories? Why not do this? Like, why not? You know, like, there's no need. There's no need for the excess of money, the excess of profit. There's just no. I don't get it. But maybe that's because I'm not one of them. I'm not money hungry, and I know that it does get to a point where they're like very it's like blocked out, driven thing. Like, we was, I don't know. Was it? I don't know who I was talking about this with. Maybe it was you. I think it was in our business class that the teacher was explaining that, like, producers of films and stuff, oftentimes they actually have the brains of psychopaths.
Of course.
Because
No,
They think of Tarantino.
it makes sense.
I think so.
No, because if you ever watch films, you're like, who would think of this? Like, why are you thinking of this?
Like Squid's Game. So I was watching it. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
I
let's
don't
not
think
talk
I can
about that
explicitly
guy.
go into detail about what happened, and also spoiler.
We had
please.
this conversation.
Plug
You
it
and I
in.
had this conversation.
On a basic level, there's like, I'm not talking about the plot or like Hunger Games. It's a bit like Hunger Games. Well, spoiler. I mean, you should know this by now. It's been out for a long time. But there's one scene. I was watching with my flatmate, and one of the workers said something they did to one of the contestants in the games, and it wasn't even explicit. It was just the concept of what he did was just so vile. And I mean, I'm not like a snowflake. I've obviously 21 years old, growing up with the internet. Like, I've heard some crazy stuff on the internet, but that was just, you know, it's like, and then you sat down. I had to sit down, but someone sat down and wrote that script,
Yeah.
and it wasn't necessary to the plot. And I get it. It's trying to be like scary and thriller, and they add into like the mystery. But then I thought, how far must they go to provoke a reaction from the audience? Are we that desensitized that writers have to say things like that, which is so ethically, morally just like messed up?
But with
For us to go,
desensitized,
you know what I mean?
things we watch it.
Exactly, because if you see, like, I'll stop in a second, but if you see horror movies from, like, you know, The Exorcist,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but if you watch it now, apparently it's not as scary because it's so old. Like, at the time, apparently, again, spoiler, it's been out for decades, so. But she sort of turns around and, like, swears at her mum or something, and the contemporary audience would be like, oh, that's awful, she swore at her mum.
And now we're like, okay.
We're so desensitized.
Yeah.
But then that's concerning. How desensitized will society get in the future when we find things like some games like, oh, that's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I
No, it's
actually
true,
think
sorry.
you're right. No, you're right. I think what she said spot on, because there's even stuff in, like, you see Top Boy,
Mhm.
like stuff like Top Boy, they'll do strange stuff. So, like, I think the first season at the end, the season finale for the first season, it, like, someone was chasing. Basically, they were looking for someone, so they went in the block. Some guys went in the block, and as they went in the block, they looked up, and the person they were saving, they dropped him off the balcony. But they basically dropped him, and they showed
Him falling.
They showed him drop, and they obviously the sound, but they made the sound like very loud so you can hear it. So, like, you know, like ASMRs where you put your headphones.
ASMR.
Yeah.
ASMR.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So you can hear the thump. That's what they made it.
Mm.
So it's like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, but like, would that really happen though? But even if it does happen, why would you put that in? Because it had nothing to do with.
No, but that's what it
Like,
is.
it generally had nothing
but
to do
it's
with
them
bro,
knowing
like,
that. No, but it's them knowing that they at this point they need to provoke a reaction from the audience, and we're becoming so desensitized that more and more is needed in order to provoke us
Exactly.
and get a reaction from
I was
us.
about to say, Zara, when you replay this, when Cassandra said that, you laughed. You did a like laugh.
Yeah.
And I was like that, but like I'm not calling you out because
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
say
yeah,
No, but that's what I do.
But
Yeah.
like, that's like that is our like.
It's not a. It's not a
Yeah, I can't remember who.
And
was
the worst
doing
thing
it.
is,
Yeah.
the
No,
guy
but
had
like
the gun.
even-
The
no,
guy
but-
had the gun as well.
No,
That's
but
what made
even
it
me and
worse.
my mum was having me and my mum had this conversation literally a couple days ago, because you and me watching movies is completely different. Like, you know, I with goriness.
Oh, yeah.
I hate horror movies.
I'm used to the
I
action
hate
gory.
action.
That's me.
Like I don't understand why I have to see it. Like, if you shoot someone, just shoot them. I don't need to see the blood pouring and their brain splattering. I don't like it. It just doesn't make me happy. I hate it. And you always see me react to it because I'm just like, why? I don't understand, right? But that's also because I was brought up by my parents not allowing me to watch those things. Whereas, for example, you are fine with it. Son does not even flinch. Something happens and he laughs, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? How is it funny? Like, it's not funny. And he's like, that's normal. That's normal. I can't even. There's cartoons that we watch. Well, it's not cartoons, but it's cartoons.
You don't watch it.
And I can't watch it.
Oh,
I really enjoy the cartoon, but I hate seeing all the goriness. And it's not even real goriness. It's fake goriness. It's a cartoon, and I despise it. I don't understand it. But it's literally just... Let me finish.
Wait,
it's just because, like, our upbringing was different. You was allowed to watch those shows from young, and I was not. And that's the only reason why now, at this age, I can't watch it anymore.
Do you know,
does that make sense?
The only reason...
That's the only thing.
We're a product of upbringing.
Yeah, we are. But that's all it is. Like, we're going to continue to get desensitized until things like that don't...
Is it?
It's like not quite as extreme as like the gory deeds that we've just been talking about, but it's like when people laugh at, you know, people tripping up in public, things like that. Like, why is that? Like, wow, you two, 3. Wow.
No. I laughed.
3
Wait.
Three.
I laughed.
So
I laughed. No. I tried to. No.
Someone hurting themselves is
No. You know in assembly, yeah, when you know something's bad, but you hear. That's what I heard. I didn't look that way, but I heard someone go.
Don't act like if you didn't see it, you wouldn't be dying.
That's different. I'm joking. No. If I saw it, it's weird. Okay, to me personally.
And you're bad. I hold it.
Schadenfreude, like you laugh at people's misfortunes. That's what it is.
Nah.
Like,
if I tripped up, I would laugh.
The way
if I tripped up, I would laugh. So I can't even I can't.
If I see, okay, this is gonna. I'm just digging my own grave. But if it's a little light trip, I'm not laughing. But if it's a trip,
yeah, 4 out of 4.
But if it's a one where they're tripping and then they're scrambling to stand up and they're about to stand up but then they drop, I'd laugh.
No, mine is like if the person is not injured, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
If you trip and they just carry on about their business, I'm like.
But you gotta have that. You gotta have
I
that.
saw someone
scare.
Drop, then I would not be laughing.
I think it's. For me, I think maybe it's a nervous reaction because that person's deviated from what I'm expecting that situation. If I'm walking down the road and someone has sort of just like fumbled or like...
See? That's exactly what...
I'm not. So I'm walking... I can't remember... I was walking with my flatmate.
She's like,
No, I really laughed. I'm going to bait her out here, but she was walking this person, just walking and just didn't trip. Well, you can't see it as a podcast, but they sort of collapsed upon themselves like that. And it was just, he just dropped down out of nowhere off the curb. And I'm actually at this point laugh because I was so, like, my brain couldn't comprehend he was there but he wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like lying forward. But my flatmate, before we even passed him, didn't turn to see if he was okay, just let out a shriek of laughter and kept walking. Like, she didn't break pace at all. And I was like, you can't do that. She's like, oh, it's fine. Like, what's he going to do? But I was just like, that's really interesting because I don't know. I think maybe it's like a nervous laugh. I didn't expect him to just dip out from nowhere. Like we're supposed to be walking. What are you doing on the floor?
Yeah, no, but we are really desensitized. And I'm gonna go a little bit off topic because that made me think about how. So you see how she said, how you said, she did not stop walking. Like she didn't stop to be like, is he okay? That reminds me of. I remember my. About to be out of my family, but my cousin had this weird thing at one stage where he just didn't like to be in school, and he would literally leave, right? And so at one time he left, and nobody stopped him. No one saw this boy on the road and thought, "Where's his parents?" No one said, "Why is no one with you? Why is no one?" He was young enough for you to be like, "There's a child without a parent," right? No one said anything, and I remember my aunt talking about it because obviously. Like, she went mad and all these things. And, like, there wasn't as much security for children to leave, as there obviously is now in primary schools and all those things. But it's just like, why at one point you walk 5 steps away from your parent and someone's like, where's your mum? Whereas now you see a little kid and no one gives a toss. Like, no one, a lot of people aren't aware and don't actually care about what's happening. Like, her just continue to walking and not think about whether or not that person dropped or not.
I think that's a different issue, because that person's a grown adult and it's a trip off a curb. We know it's not going to sustain injuries. If he had fallen, bust his head open, blood pouring out, I 100% think that we would have stopped. But about a child, I don't know, maybe that's like, again, what you said earlier about upbringing thing, because my mum sort of drilled into me, maybe, like, if you see a child with worse up, like him or herself, you have to, like, check where the parents are. And to this day, if I see a kid even running down the road, I would always do that thing where I stick my leg out, look back and forth for a parent to make sure it doesn't run into the road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your kid's here. And that's just sort of thing I've been doing since I was a kid. I used to do it for, like, kids who were like 1 year younger than me.
But then maybe it is upbringing.
But it may be upbringing thing. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think we just don't care about stuff that we
It's an upbringing thing. Cause I would say it is an upbringing thing, because I think that has part. It's weird. It's like, I would say it's a mentality thing, but obviously I think it intertwines with your upbringing, because most people, they see a child lost, they help the child. But there are people that would just be like, oh wow, that's sad. Anyway, I'm not involved, I'm walking off. Does that make sense? Like, that's generally what people think. Whereas there'll be people like, where's your mum? Why is your mum not with you? What? You don't know where your mum is? Alright, cool, let's go find your mum.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing of what you're trying to say. It's like, people are so used to just seeing a child and walking. I would say, yeah, they're just like, more like, it's not my business.
Yeah, but I think a lot of us have got to like that. Not a lot of us, but I think like society has made us so individualized.
I was just about to say that there's no sense of community.
Yeah.
You can't even, like, if there was a sense of community, you wouldn't feel a type of way asking a child where your parent is.
Yeah.
But,
like, and I think that's what I want. Like, that's what I think it more is. Like, I'm not. Yes, I think it's an upbringing thing, but I think societally. Cut. Don't worry. Moving on. In society, we're now like so individualized. Like, it's a you problem. You and you and you as a person.
Everyone for themselves. Everyone for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's why we would say it's upbringing, because all of us sitting here knows that our mums would have been like, why did you not ask the child where because that's how they've been brought up, like, community wise. Like, my parents grew up in a time where it's like, if you go to someone's house and act like a fool, their mum is allowed to beat you.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just it. So that's community. Like, anyone and everyone can give you licks if you act up on the street.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas now, that's not necessarily the case. We're brought up like that, but most people aren't. It's like they're in themselves and that's it.
Yeah.
They only care about themselves and that's it. And we need to get out of that, because, like, the sense of community and, you know, closeness has been lost.
I was about to say that's also been exacerbated by the COVID scare, and going back to, again, people falling. Also, really quick, look, too many thoughts at the same one time. But I was going to say a thing about the person falling off the street and laughing. I think because your brain can quickly assess a situation and realise the worst thing hurt about that person is perhaps a grade
Their
and
ego.
his ego.
Yeah.
Whereas a child walking alone is more like
Safety.
You have no idea what could happen to that child, and that's why that sort of kicks in. But going back to about the COVID thing, is that I remember right during the beginning of the pandemic, I was just doing one of Boris Johnson's daily allowed walks, and someone slipped on their bike. But someone slipped on their bike, and they were cycling. There was quite a lot of people because everyone's walking. That's the only thing we've got to do. So, and then everyone it was the first time I saw it, and I did the same thing. We rushed, and then we sort of halted. Because you remember, you can't.
Yeah.
And it's one of those weird things where even I was like, oh, are you okay? And you're sort of hovering, not knowing whether to you're trying to
help
the person able to pick yourself off the ground.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, because one, you don't want to get sick, this person might have COVID. Two, you don't want to infringe on that person's, they might turn around and be like, don't touch me, you could have COVID. And it's one of those things we don't know how to react anymore. So that's probably not helping the whole idea of like individualism and having a solid community and stuff.
Yeah, because it's so weird because we was like, at one point during COVID, we was all like, we're all in this together. But it was like, we're all in this together, but at the same time...
Don't touch me.
Yeah, like, at the same time, we ain't friends. Like, it was weird. Like, it's just a weird time. Pandemics are weird
People
things.
buying up food, not forgetting about... not thinking about other people, sorry.
Yeah,
like people buying dumb bulks.
Yeah, like...
Not even toilet, pasta.
We're all in this together, and you know... Everyone could possibly get sick or die, but I'm not allowed to, I'm not going to let you have toilet roll. Like, we're going to fight over food in the street. But I think that's like also like humans wanting to survive.
It's messed up.
It was weird.
This old woman started beefing me about vegetable stocks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
many vegetable stocks, and I picked up one, and she started talking about you young people.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Remember I told you
Hit the biscuit.
there was one chicken breast left. I remember I went shopping with my dad. One chicken breast left. The old lady looked at me. I looked at my dad. And she looked at my dad again. I had the chicken breast in my pocket. She followed me. She's like, when you put that down, I'm gonna pick it up. I did not drop it. I didn't drop it because I knew she was gonna run away with it. Like that's how mad it was. I didn't understand that. And again, I saw people buy dumb bulks.
Yeah, but
these times, this was before they had the limit on buying stuff.
Yeah, but in my class, we was talking about this underlying tension that is is in society, that like we've gone past the days of when like someone would just get mad and punch another person in the face and then that would be it. We're now at a stage where it's like we're always on edge. Everyone is just constantly on edge. And so things like that just brings it out even more. Or like when the petrol shortage happened, and people was
confused, bro.
fighting over petrol, people going mad over petrol. 2-3 days later, nothing. No one was arguing in the streets. No one was mad. No one was fighting. There was no issues. We were just back to this like constant level of tension. If you do one thing wrong, if you do one wrong situation, if you do one thing right, something might happen. Someone might blow up. So you say one thing that's like not politically correct, might go wrong, and we're always on edge at this current moment where we are in society, and no one really knows what they're supposed to do and not supposed to do, and what's okay and what's not okay. And it's a bit weird. But I think this episode is over with that. So I'm gonna say bye.